And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For today's podcast episode, I have Charlie with me. Hello, everyone, Charlie.
Hello.
And for today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about the new Angelina Jolie movie called Those Who Wish Me Dead. This movie stars Angelina Jolie as Hannah, John Bernthal as Ethan, Adrian Gillian as Jack, Nicholas Hoult as Patrick, Finn Little as Connor, Jack Weber as Owen, and Madine Segnor as Allison, who's actually an actress from TV and stuff like that. I haven't seen any of her stuff or anything like that, but she is just fantastic in this film. This movie is also directed by Taylor Sheridan, who actually directed Hell or High Water, Yellowstone, and Sicario 2. This movie is just fantastic. I love the visuals and the way everything is actually shot. Like I mentioned before, this is actually starring Angelina Jolie, and she actually stars as a fire jumper from Montana. And she winds up going through some PTSD moments and stuff like that, especially some of the events that happens whenever she's fighting some fires and stuff like that, because of the fact she didn't get a chance to save a couple of people's lives and stuff like that. So it was actually haunting her. So I actually like there's actually some demons and everything else like that that's actually causing her to have these PTSD moments. But it actually feels very real. Her character is not very one note or anything like that. I really feel like that she actually brought out the character that she actually needs to bring out in this film. And also, too, let's also not forget Adrian Gillian as Jack and then Nicholas Hoult as Patrick. They're both brothers in this film and everything, too. And also, too, they're after Finn Little's character, Connor, and also his father, because of the fact that his father worked for this government agency who ended up working for the government as a doing their finances and stuff like that. And basically he gets into some trouble. And then, of course, that's when they run into they wind up running into Nicholas Holt's character and Adrian Gillian's character.
Yeah, I love the beginning. I thought it was a good opening. Like, you get to see, like, right off the bat, you get to see the PTSD moment. And it's like they jump in and there's a bunch of fire everywhere. Three boys screaming help. One of their firemen, like, people that, like, I got to get out of here, doesn't follow the group, and he's on fire, and Angelina Jolie instantly wakes up. I mean, I thought that was a great way to kick off the movie. I've known about this movie for a while since I'm a fan of the director, Taylor Sheridan. I just want to add some clarification. Taylor Sheridan actually didn't direct the first. I believe he might have directed the second Sicario. I'm not 100%. He wrote the first two, though. The first movie is actually directed by a really good director, Denis Villeneuve. He's done Arrival. He's doing the new Dune movie coming out. He's a really good director. So anyway, I was a fan of Taylor Sheridan, and he directed a movie called Wind River 2, which is also really good. I highly recommend that. It's about a murder on an Indian reservation, and Elizabeth Olsen has to team up with Jeremy Renner to figure out who's killing these people, or who killed the person. Anyway, this movie was great. I highly enjoyed it. It was really, visually, it was stunning. Like the fires were, like, really that, like, you definitely know that the picture was great. To go right from the fire sequence to the area in Fort Lauderdale where they show up at this guy's house. And the interesting thing is you don't know specifically what happened. They show up, hey, you got a gas leak. My husband's there. Can we come? Hey, it's like, can we come in? And the wife's like, sure. And then a couple of minutes later, you see them walk out. Nicholas Hoult's like, oh, man, I got blood on my shirt. So you just knew instantly they killed those people in there and the house blew up. I mean, I kind of knew. And I thought that was a great introduction to those two characters, that they know business and they don't give they know how to handle it. Like, they screw up sometimes, but they make up for it by cleaning up loose ends.
Exactly, and that's exactly what they're doing, especially when you look at Finn Connor's father and everything, who was an accountant for this government agency. And at first you're thinking, okay, they went on ahead, they killed this family and everything, and you don't know why they're killing this family at all either. They just randomly just show up at this people's door. It actually has like a Pulp Fiction kind of flavor to it if you think about it, where you have these two guys in suits that just come randomly over there just to kill somebody, which is something that I really enjoyed from just watching this. Because at first you're thinking, okay, well, you know, they come outside of the house, they have blood on, the guy has the blood on his shirt. You're thinking, okay, that's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to do is just kill this other person, but they don't actually show how everything went down. And then as they're walking away, that's when the house blows up, and they're like, oh, okay, these guys are actually legitimate people that you don't want to mess with or anything like that. You know, they're here to do a cleanup job and they do it very well. You know, I really like that.
Yeah. I personally thought I knew kind of had a feeling they were going to blow up the house because it just fit them talking about a gas leak. I'm like, they're about to do something to that person's house. And then what sparks it is like the guy that I think he was an attorney general and the boy's father, he worked, that was his boss that he killed. So obviously the two of them were working together. And obviously he was a forensic accountant, so he saw some stuff he wasn't supposed to see. And now some of these people are coming after them, which like coming after the father because what he knew. Again, I like overall, I thought this movie was great. Some flaws I had with it briefly were I thought the movie should have been a little bit longer because there's so much stuff they could have expanded on. Like Tyler Perry's only in this for like maybe 5 minutes, maybe less. Between 1 to 5 minutes, he's in it. He's speaking, and then he's gone. And we don't know much of his character, which I kind of wish they kind of expanded more on. Not only just that, but what organization do these guys work for? I kind of want to know where does why is the dad in trouble? What did he find? And I don't think I got that closure from it. And that's why I was like kind of wanted to see more with the media, seeing the boy speak. I wanted to know what were these secrets. What did he find? So I wanted to see the guys go to get justice because we got some justice, but we didn't get full of it. We only got like a portion of the pie. We didn't get the whole thing. And that's what I kind of was a little bummed on. That I kind of wanted to know more because I'm intrigued in the story. I want to know more. And that's why I was really interested in what was that information and what did he find? Who does he work for? So these are the questions I had coming out of it. I mean, again, these are minor. The movie's great.
Right.
I just have a lot of questions I wanted to have answered.
You see, for me, I felt like this. I'm going to talk about the ending and everything later on with the kid and everything as well with Connor. But, you know, I feel like this. If he's an accountant, there has to be some shady business going along inside these governments and stuff like that to actually know that something does not quite add up to a certain dollar or something like that, especially when you're dealing with the government officials and things like that. So that's what I'm kind of going on. But that's just me speculating and stuff like that. But as far as the movie itself, I mean, it's really great and everything too. I had a lot of fun watching this, to be honest with you. The visuals was damn good, to be honest with you. And if you think about it, the firefighters too, for them to be a super what's the word I'm looking for? They were super jumpers, and for them to be super jumper firefighters, I thought this actually was perfectly well done. And also too, it pays respect to what these super jumper firefighters do on an everyday basis and everything. I'm trying to save people's lives and things like that. It actually captured the heart of what they do. It actually captured the essence of what they do. And also too, it also makes you want to go to Montana. It actually captures the heart of Montana, if you actually think about it, with all the hiking and things like that they do, especially whenever Connor and his father is on the road trip and everything, even though Connor doesn't even want to play hooky from school or whatever because he has an exam. And these guys, as soon as he finds out that these guys blew up somebody's house by watching the news, he knew something was up, because these other guys also work for them as well, for this government agency. It's like, oh shit, we gotta go on ahead, and we have to split town. So, you know, I actually liked how he makes his son throw out his cell phone and stuff like that, so the way they won't track him or anything like that. That was really good. The son doesn't know what his dad does or anything like that for a living. So I definitely liked how he broke it down to his son in a simple way, in a simplistic way, to where his son can actually understand him and everything too, and wasn't too complex for him to actually understand. And then also too, I like how, you know, it captures the innocence of the child though too, whenever he's petting the horse and things like that when they're on the road. And then as they're going on the road and everything, we actually see Nicholas Hoult, and we also see Adrian Gillian's characters, Jack and Patrick again, but they're flying into Montana as Connor and his father are actually making their way into Montana driving. And of course, you know, flying is a whole lot more easier than driving. So they beat them over into Montana, And then of course the both brothers, Jack and Patrick, both get a call. Hey, look, this guy wants to meet, and they're like, oh shit, they want to meet now. So that's when they meet up with Tyler Perry's character. And like you said, it's very brief on how they meet up with him and stuff like that. He's like, how do you expect us to do this? He goes, don't worry. There's going to be some loose ends that we're going to take care of. And there's also going to be a diversion that we can actually make it go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And everything too.
Yeah. And this was right after they killed the dad. Like Tyler Perry knew that obviously the kid was alive. So obviously he knew the kid was alive. And then he's like, right. I mean, but the way, like they said, how they figured this out. I mean, I keep thinking, if the kid didn't dwindle with the deer or the horse, do you think the dad could have survived? That'd be interesting too. Like a couple minutes life or death. I don't know.
I think they would have still sat up there, to be honest with you. Don't forget, they already planted their feet pretty much, if you think about it. Because number one, they already had the sniper rifle in place. They already knew exactly what the direction they were going to come from. So they had those two obstacles already done. Either way it goes, it was still been a head-on thing. Yeah. So, and plus they also beat them there for a couple of hours too. So they already had a jump start on them. So it's actually hard to actually say that was actually Connor's fault for petting the horse or whatever. But still, that's actually a very good point though, as well. I mean, a couple of seconds or whatever, but still I still figure that it's going to be the same outcome. That's just me thinking. But the stunt work for that really worked for me. The sound effects really worked and everything too. I know that you wanted to capture a little bit on the sound effects of the guns and stuff.
Yeah. I thought the sound effects were great. It was like Tyler Sheridan must have like gotten a lot of like tips from Michael Mann, because Michael Mann knows how to do some shootouts and make it realistic. And that's what this fiend is. This fiend sounded realistic. Like it didn't like, I mean, it would keep looking like a sniper. I'm like, how is he able to shoot the sniper that fast? And I keep thinking it must have been like, I keep thinking it's an assault rifle. It was a very long with a long barrel, but it could be a sniper. It's just Nicholas Hoyt is really good at shooting. So I think it's just, there's minor details of the people actually shooting the guns. It means they must have had training to do this. And that makes it even more like realistic and more like these guys know what they're doing. It's like what Keanu's done with the John Wick movies. That's him shooting the gun. That's him doing it. No stunt doubles doing it. That's him. And that's what I appreciate. These actors taking the time to actually train for this.
Exactly. But also too, while all this is going on, we have the fire jumpers and stuff like that celebrating this party. I really love them breaking each other's balls, drinking. We have Angelina Jolie that I was actually thinking that they were going to do the whole cliche thing where she was going to be with John Bernthal's character. I don't know about you though. Did you think on that same level?
I didn't think that. I just I might have had a feeling he was an ex. Just the fact that, I mean, I don't think a husband would have appreciated her and her squad busting his balls like all the time about like that. Like I said, I didn't think that, so I thought I kind of had a feeling he was married, and not to her, but to somebody else. Right. But again, that's just me.
But I'm glad they didn't do the whole cliche thing of her being with him. Or anything like that, because I thought that's exactly what they were going to go for. I thought, okay, she's going to be with John Bernthal at the end of this film, and then especially whenever she does the whole entire stunt with the parachute, doing the parasailing from the truck. I thought that was hilarious, and then all of a sudden she lands on her ass. But like you said, though, that actually does feel like a little bit of Bella Swan from Twilight kind of thing, but being an adrenaline junkie. And I was actually thinking that too myself, to be honest with you. Was like, okay, is this gonna be one of those things where she's trying to recover from her PTSD by doing more adrenaline junkie stuff by trying to get over it and overcome that? But it comes to find out she was just trying to just be like one of the guys or whatever. John Bernthal winds up arresting her, and then next thing you know, he winds up letting her go. But I like how the wife of John Bernthal, Allison, which is played by Medina, and Medina does such a great job in this film to be a TV actress, because there's a difference between TV actresses and movie actresses, the different levels there. And she was able to carry her own in front of John Bernthal, and that says a lot. And also too, she's also pregnant too. But I also liked how she was taking Angelina Jolie's side over, which is Hannah, over Ethan's side, which is John Bernthal's character. And he goes, "Oh, I see how it is. You're taking my ex-girlfriend's side and everything." I thought that was really good how they played that out.
I also love the dynamic between Angelina Jolie and the guys and the fire crew. They're all sitting there just drinking beer, like not even dressed up because they're drinking beer. They're in the far corner of it, and everybody's getting inducted into become one of the firefighters or paratroopers or whatever their title was. And they're just sitting there having a good time drinking beer, busting balls with Ethan. And then them playing like hacky sack or cornhole. And then Angelina Jolie's like, "Come on, why don't you play with us?" She's like, "I don't play anything with the word corn in it." And then she just chucks the beanbag into it just chucks it nonchalant and goes in the hole. And then the guy's reaction was to her doing the adrenaline. She's gonna do it. I'm like, you're like, oh fuck no. Like they didn't want her to do it, which I thought and the dynamic between them was interesting. And you just really feel for Hannah's character because what happened in Montana wasn't her fault. It was the communication fuck up between the top, like her bosses gave her and her team false information, and they acted on that, and then because of their fuck up, they had to find a scapegoat, and they blamed her for it, which it was not her fault at all. It was her boss screwing up, and they punished her to the watchtower, which I'm like, you just make it feel her character even more, which I really appreciate. Like all the characters besides the brothers, like I didn't give a shit about them. They're bad. I cared about the main characters and I wanted them to survive this. And that's why that's what I really appreciate what Taylor Sheridan did with the script. You have characters that you want to survive. You want, like, you believe them. They're believable characters. They're human and you believe them. And that's the part I really loved about this movie is the characters.
Exactly, man. And also too, like you mentioned before, it wasn't her fault with the whole entire thing about the fire or anything. It was the windshield, and also too, they predicted the wind to go a different way and everything, and it ended up killing those 3 people. But it wasn't Angelina Jolie's fault. She's actually punished to the watchtower and everything. Mm-hmm. And basically, I liked how she's overlooking the horizon and everything, and just looking over everything. And she's just thinking about that moment and everything too. Like you mentioned before, about 1 or 2 minutes difference. And I could see her just contemplating that, like, if things would have went a different way, if the wind would have went in the direction that it was supposed to go in, would I be in this position? And also too, she's also suffering through a PTSD and stuff like that too, where she can see the pain and the emotion in her face, which is something that I really admired about that. Her acting ability in this film is just fantastic. And it, like you said before, these characters could have been a one-note, one-dimensional kind of feel to them, but they give you so much emotion, so much depth to them without even having to talk. And that's fantastic, because 99% of acting is just looking and getting to know the characters without any dialogue. And they do such a good job with this. And also too, whenever I saw Allison's character being pregnant, I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen to her character?
Yeah.
Is she? And also too, they're both survivalists. They teach in a survival school and stuff like that, so they know the lingos of how to actually survive certain things. Mm-hmm. They know how to adapt into the wild and stuff like that too. So I really admire that. Mm-hmm. And also too, even Connor's father knew how to survive.
Yeah.
In the woods. He said, you go to the stream. Wherever there's a stream, there's a town. That's where you have to go. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not going verbatim or anything like that. But yeah, I definitely love that.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, yeah, even though I said I didn't really give a shit about the 2 brothers, they're sinister. Like you knew, like they knew how to do their stuff. So because I'm downplaying them, I'm giving them credit because you knew they were going to kill people. Like you knew deep down they're the type of guys that shoot first, ask questions later. You knew there's something bad was going to happen. So just knowing that is like that means both of them did a really good job. And that's like, so villains sometimes they can be really bad and then the acting's horrible. But in these guys were really good at like what they did. That means you're believable. You believe that they're going to do something, and that's the thing. And I thought the twist was interesting of how Connor, how Owen knew, like, we got to take you to that because his former wife was the sister to John Bernthald's character. That's how they knew each other. That's why I'm taking you to Montana. That's how they end up on the road to Montana. And that's how Allison knew to take care. And then because Connor, the 12-year-old, he went to the school, so he knows some stuff too. But like I said, Angelina Jolie was really great in this, and it's nice to see her back in front of the screen. I could care less what's happening off the screen. Her on screen, she's done some really good action movies. When she's in action movies, she seems to have fun and she's really good at it. But she'll also be in November. She's in she joined the MCU in the Eternals, so it'll be interesting to see where she does that. But again, she was great in this. Like I said, you see the emotion on her face, like like when she feels pain, you feel pain. Like her and you believed her when she said she's trying to tell communication. Yeah, there's clouds coming up. Something's gonna happen because she's in a watchtower. And what happens when lightning hits a watchtower? Oh yeah, you lose communication. But you know what? You know what the corporate said? This is not a party line. They're doing their whole bullshit thing when she's trying to tell them something. Like, don't underestimate her. Listen to her, not throw her away. And what happens? The electricity got close. Lightning got close. Destroyed communication to her tower, and she got seriously hurt. Like burns on her hands from rope burns.
Yep, the rope burns make me hurt, to be honest with you, and her falling made me hurt even more, to be honest with you. But I definitely liked how they did that, the visual effects for that as well, to be honest with you. And then also too, I just want to mention this though too, with Jack and Patrick, the two brothers, and everything. Is it just me, or whenever one of the brothers looked at Adrian Gillian's character, whenever Patrick looks at Jack, for a minute there, I thought there might be a chance that maybe there's a little bit of human side to him, a little bit of like, okay, what the hell are you doing, kind of thing, But we're gonna get to that in a few minutes on what I'm talking about with that. But I really thought that was really good, and then of course. By the time, and then, okay, so then after this all happens, too, we actually have Jack and Patrick. It's pretty much Jack goes on ahead, gets the flares out, and creates a fire. And for a minute there, I thought I saw a little bit of human side from Patrick, the way he's looking at Jack. Like, what the hell are you doing? Kind of thing. I know you're trying to buy us some time, but is this the right way to go about it? And there's even another scene where he's inside the cabin with John Bernthal's wife, with Allison, and I'm thinking and he's looking at him, and he's like, just like, really? You're gonna hurt this pregnant woman, kind of thing. But then he also has that villainous type of thing though too, where he's like, you know what, we have to do what we have to do, kind of thing. So it's like very complex the way he is. Yeah. That's something I really have to say that I admired, was we actually have smart villains in this film. Yeah, these are not dummy villains at all. They're not one note villains, which is something I appreciate from this. Yeah. But yeah, then of course, like I mentioned too, they go. Of course, they're looking for Connor. The two brothers are, and also too. John Bernthal also winds up seeing this other thing that winds up happening. They see the truck that they wound up the two brothers shot at and everything, and moved the truck over to the side of the road.
That was brutal. There's like the girl's like, what happened? Nothing. He just randomly shoots her, and you see the effects on the windshield. That was nasty. Like you see her part of her, like the after effects of the shot to the head. That was point blank to the head. So you see a lot more stuff than so they're brutal. Like the assassins, they know their stuff and they're brutal. And so Burf and I'll get in there and seeing it, and I was like, in the close up on the head, I was like, oh, that made me groan a little bit. That was intense.
That was definitely intense, to be honest with you. And then after that, he calls it in. Ethan winds up calling it in. And at that point in time, that's when Angelina Jolie meets up with Connor and everything, running through, pretty much running through the wilderness and everything. And Angelina's like, look, you have to trust me and everything. And the kid's not trusting him. He's like, F you, lady.
I know. Got a mouth. I was like, did he drop the F-bomb? And she was like, all right, fine, fuck you then. And then she walks off. Like, she's trying to help him, but the kid's got some spunk. Like,
he does.
12-year-old to drop the F-bomb at that. I mean, and then eventually he, like, okay, she's that, but Angelina Jolie wasn't taking no shit.
No,
it might seem like she is, but deep down, like, and until from that point on, she like, you know what, I ain't taking any more shit. And I appreciate that in her character.
I do too, to be honest with you. I definitely admire that in her character and everything as well. I thought that, you know, it shows how much of a badass that she actually is too, but also too, this kid's been through a lot in a couple of hours. So I don't blame him for saying fuck you, lady. I can't trust you. But I like how she convinces him to trust her.
Yeah.
And everything too, because it's like, okay, I need to see where you're bleeding from. Well, it's not my blood. Well, whose blood is it actually? And he winds up telling her, that's my father's blood.
Yeah.
And everything. And there's these guys that are after us, and we're trying to find out, and I'm needing to actually go to a town. Yeah. And I like how she winds up saying, well, town is this way. Either you can choose to go on ahead, go up through the brush and everything, which you won't be able to do, or we go back this way and I help you. Mm-hmm. So he thinks about it. I like how he just thinks about it for a minute and he goes with her. And then, of course, she cleans him up and everything. And then I like how he's looking at the papers that his father gave him.
Yeah.
And from the hotel room. And he's like, well, my father said that I'm supposed to give these papers to you, to a person that I trust. Mm-hmm. Can I trust you? And she said, yes, you can trust me. And then that gave him respect to her and have a bond of trust with her.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's when we wind up seeing Ethan coming home. And that's when Allison, Allison's inside I think the back. Allison is actually inside the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And then get this, the two brothers are actually pretending to be FBI agents.
Was it that or U.S. Marshals? I think I saw
either FBI agents or UF Mark. No. They said FBI. What with the FBI?
But I think their badges were U.S. Marshals.
But she knew something was up with them because she's like, "Do you mind if we come in?" Yes, I mind if you come in.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they wind up throwing her over a table. Yeah. And she's pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, is she going to lose the baby? What's going to happen with the baby? Yeah. That's the first initial thoughts that came to my head. John Bernthal's going to be pissed when he gets home. Yeah. That's another thing. But what do you think how that played out?
I thought it was great. She was a badass. Like, I mean, to see the wife pregnant, she did more than John Bernthal did that whole movie. And he was a cop. And if, like I said, I mean, and then the way she knew instantly, like to say something on the phone, but like I said, the brothers, they're not dumb. They picked up immediately what she said. That's code. Like then they immediately stopped her. And then, but you saw earlier on, she grabbed the can and like, what's she gonna do with that can? And then she had the can right by the fire, and the guy's like, "You have it the wrong way." No, I don't. Fire comes and hits Jack in the eyes. And then she's able to escape those gunshots, like, from the brothers. Like, she was a badass. I mean, she was a badass this whole movie. Like, she was right up there with Hannah because the two females knew how to survive. But yeah, I got to give props. She was badass.
She definitely was. She was definitely someone that you didn't want to mess with. She knew what she was doing. She knows how to survive. And then we're gonna get to that in a minute because I definitely like that. But then, of course, she winds up calling calling Ethan home And like you
Yeah.
said, that's code for da 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 da. And then he winds up coming home, and then that's whenever they put the gun to his head, making them try and track Connor.
If there was one major dumbass, like stupid character, it was the sheriff. Come on, you're a sheriff, and you tell Ethan, and you show up with him, like boom, instant headshot. Like he just died instantly. I'm like, wow, what a waste of a character.
It's like, yeah, we need backup, and then
yeah,
he's dead.
You see the red dot. You saw the red dot going on him, and yep, he's gone. He's gone. Yep.
You would have thought that he would actually saw the red dot or something.
I mean, you're a sheriff. You should have known that.
Right.
What a dumbass.
But Ethan knew right away, though. Ethan knew right away.
Yeah, and he started pulling his gun and start shooting like Punisher style. I was like, oh yeah, I was like expecting him to do some of that in the movie. I'm like, oh, that was the only part he did in the whole movie.
Well, you have to think of it like this though too, because I was thinking that too. I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be him being a total badass.
Yeah,
and everything. But then I'm like, well, the movie would be over like 5 minutes if that was the case though too. But here's the thing though, right? He's just an everyday sheriff. He's not used to handling these kind of criminal cases and stuff like that with these big style things. And he also is in a small town.
Yeah.
So dealing with that is a hard thing to actually deal with because he's not used to those on every day-to-day basis. Now, if you work for something like CIA or FBI or something like that, yeah, I can see him being a total badass. But for me, I thought it fit in what he is. He's a sheriff who just handles like day-to-day cases, small cases and stuff like that.
But I mean, him and that trigger finger, I mean, that was definitely no amateur. Like he pulled that trigger until that thing ran out of bullets. Like, I mean, he was channeling inner Punisher with that one. So I mean, yeah, he's that doesn't do this, but he knew how to shoot. So I was like, a person was expecting him to do it. I mean, he did have a good moment when he was trying to like egg on the brothers. He was screaming at him like he was going full on Shane from Walking Dead on them. I thought then he was gonna do something like beat him up, and then he was like, I liked him in it. I just wish this character had more to do. To be honest, I wish there's just two guys, like it was like an army or like a squad of them. I kind of want that because I want to see him take out at least somebody.
Right, and even Adrian Gillian's character Jack said there should have been more people with us.
I know.
That's another thing that he said. But don't forget though, in the trailer it was just them two anyways. So
yeah,
you know, I to be honest with you, I got what I was sold on.
Yeah.
And everything too. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, I wish that they would have actually gave him more to do.
Yeah. I liked him in, I mean, I just wish they gave him more to do.
Same.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the whole dynamic from both Hannah's side and Jack's side. They both were trying to talk to higher ups and try to give them like, hey guys, I need this, or you didn't give me this. And both of them got shut down. So that's the like little kind of like thing is like management is like, or the corporate or whatever. It's not to be trusted. And like, so that's the whole thing is because both of them got shot down. Hannah got shot down because her higher ups gave her false information, which led to get people killed. So she got demoted to that. I don't know if Adrian Gillian's character got demoted at all, but he said there should have been more people with us. And he kind of was getting the shaft on that one. So it's a little interesting dynamic that both sides got rejected. Hero side, villain side. So I mean, it was a little interesting way to make both sides believable. But you knew instantly you weren't going to believe Jack's side. You were going to believe Hannah's sides. But it's just a little kind of like a little interesting like dynamic there that both got shut down by higher ups, which I thought was pretty. That just now figured that out. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did too, to be honest with you. I thought there was a pretty good dynamic that you just mentioned because I didn't think about that before, to be honest with you. But I did think of something else like towards the end with the fire and stuff. But we'll get to that later on as well. Yeah. But also too, then of course, they're tracking Connor, and then John Bernthal, Ethan's character goes on ahead and covers up the tracks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I liked how and then all of a sudden you see Patrick. He's like, whoa. What's that? He goes, what? Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm like,
But,
and of course, I'm like, you know not to do that,
yeah. And that's when
But
he went
there's
full on Shane, like trying to egg on the brothers, which I thought was pretty funny. It was like, oh yeah, he's about to do something. Oh,
right. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna go in and kill me, kill me. But he realizes too that they need him alive because of the fact that they don't know how to track anybody. They don't know anything about survival outside of the woods or anything like that. All they know how to do is take someone down, and that's all they're after.
yeah.
Then he winds up tracking the tracks all the way up to the watchtower.
Yeah. It was before that though. That's when Angelina Jolie, like I thought that was a cool scene of them trying to track the lightning. I thought
Yeah.
So that happened before, and poor Angelina Jolie, she got beat up in this movie. Like I mean, like anytime that you see all the bruises and stuff, it's like very reminiscent of the Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde. Like when the opening where you see her back all bruised up, like bruised eyes, like black eyes, like. Angelina Jolie took a beat in this movie.
She definitely did take a beating. I was even thinking that to myself. I mean, I was like thinking to myself, I was like, she's getting her ass kicked in this movie by natural disasters, by fires, by rope, by lightning. But I remember this goes all the way up to my lower elementary days about how to survive during lightning storms and stuff like that. If you're outside, you have to go into like the lowest ground that you can possibly get to if you're doing lightning. And I like how she goes, do what I do. Do the same thing that I do. And she's doing everything that she Connor's asking, basically everything that she's telling him to do, and then all of a sudden she's the one who gets zapped by lightning and not Connor.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's like it seems like in a different reality, this could be like a Lara Croft movie in a sense, a Tomb Raider based on what's going on, like the current the reboots they've been doing, kind of like in the games, she's gotten attacked by like she had to do with very harsh weathers. She has a pickaxe. She had to deal with assassins. So in a sense, this is like more like if Lara Croft had got demoted from treasure hunter to watchtower firefighter, in a sense. And you look at it, I mean, I kept getting so many Lara Croft with her with the pickaxe. I was like, then again, she was Lara Croft before Alicia Vikander took over and made not that great of a reboot, but the video game reboots were fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I just keep getting a lot of Lara Croft vibes, the current one, because harsh weathers, pickaxe, assassins, getting beat up. I mean, it's kind of like I said. I mean, it's possible this could be a Lara Croft-less movie, but just a more grittier version of it. But
right,
I mean, got all the elements.
But you know what though? I love the visual effects when it came down to lightning. Be honest with you, I actually felt their pain, and then I liked how the kid, how Connor winds up saying, "Did lightning just strike you? No, it missed me."
And it clearly struck her.
Right. So they go back over to the watchtower. She winds up putting I swear that woman has a lot of peroxide inside that bottle that she has, but she's using. Right.
Yeah.
And then of course that's when John Bernthal tracks them all the way up to the watchtower. She tells Connor to get down underneath the bed and everything. And because he actually recognizes the two brothers and stuff like that from before.
Yeah.
And then John Bernthal goes up to the place and he goes, "There's nobody up here." He goes, "Well, this is not the first door you're gonna kick that you kicked in, is it?"
Like, damn, these guys, like these brothers are relentless.
Right. And then also too, John Bernthal also tries to play it off like there's nobody even inside the house either by just mumbling, like talking through his teeth and things like that, trying to do like little survival stuff. And that's not even working because you have one of the brothers that climb up in this tree to see what's going on. And he's sniping through his scope and he sees that John Bernthal is actually talking to somebody. And next thing you know, the two brothers winds up once again putting bullets through bullet holes through the watchtower.
Yeah. It's just interesting how they got there is because like early on, like before they got to the watchtower, Angelina Jolie and Connor, they witnessed the fire because they're like, because at the time they didn't know a fire was happening. The only guy that knew a fire was happening was, of course, the two brothers and Ethan. Those were the only 3 people that knew. Maybe Allison. Those are the only three or 4 people that knew the fire. So when they go up to her, like, all right, yeah, we got to go back. We're not going to the fire. Are you? And the agent is getting really furious with it. He's like, hey, we're going back. We can't go into this fire. And then eventually, he's like, yeah, the fire's going to come to us anyway. It's like this the funny dynamic switch how Angelina Jolie is so fierce about we're not going to the fire. I'm like, yeah, fire's going to hit us in a couple minutes. There's no way we can go.
Exactly. But I definitely liked how all of a sudden now she has to try and face her fear of the fire.
Oh yeah,
which is one of the things that she didn't want to do in the first place, and now she has to go in. But also too, the other brother actually goes back to the cabin and everything, goes over to John Bernthal's wife's cabin, Allison's cabin.
I don't think they did. I think they stayed with Ethan the whole time. It's Allison that traveled on horse.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
She showed up at them like she's pregnant and she's looking for a vehicle. She sees ATV. She's like, nah. Motorcycle, definitely not. Horse, okay. And then she took the sniper, like she took the scout's rifle and a bunch of ammunition. I'm like, you're like, oh shit. She means business. Like, don't F with her. So she tracks them to the watchtower.
If John Rambo had a girlfriend, it would be Allison. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, it's either that or because Rambo's other girlfriend got killed.
Right.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Rambo 2, that's shame, but yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No. You're good because I had to remember if she actually went how she got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely loved how they're both facing off against each other and everything. He has an automatic gun. She has the sniper rifle. She winds up shooting him. And then, of course, he's over there trying to reload his gun again. Then she shoots him again. And then of course, one last time, he pulls the trigger. And I'm like, and then he goes, I hate this fucking place, and dies. Yeah. He says that twice in the movie.
I mean that's like I said, and the fact that she just arrived again, it was a couple minutes too late. Because she could have saved her husband because like the wounds he got pretty beat up. Like we didn't know. But she knew how to shoot that weapon. It was that shootout was too intense. I was like, no, like she's getting up and I think poor Jack, he got beat up the worst. He got fired in the eyes. Like no, I don't think he got fired in the eyes. He might have, but like I think it was Patrick that got in the eyes. Jack was all on fire, like from Allison. Allison beat him up, like made him her bitch. That's pretty much what she did to him. And the way that shootout was intense because he's running out of bullets. She got a good shot on him, and then she get up, she start moving closer. I'm like, no, shoot him again, because he's an assassin. He knows you need to always double tap person. Like shoot him in the head and shoot him in the head. Don't give him a chance. And then when she ran out of bullets, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna get shot now. And then the way she was able to recycle that weapon really quick, like she was a pro when it comes to shooting. So and then her putting the ending blow into him. I think she shot him like twice, and then he's like, I hate this fucking place. But yeah, well, it hates you too. And and then right when he dies, like it hates you too. Right before she shoots him again, but she took out Jack pretty quick, and then she went up to the watchtower to see Ethan, and that's when we knew Ethan wasn't going to survive, and that was a bummer.
I was actually expecting John Bernthal to live through this movie, but I like the fact that it's not predictable.
No.
Either. So I was actually fine with the predictability with it not being so predictable.
And the fire was coming right for the watchtower. So the two of them just staying there the whole time. And you just thought like something was going to happen. They were both going to die. And the little girl was going to die. And then, and we can get into that afterwards. But then Patrick's gone after, because Angelina Jolie, Hannah and the boy, they were able to escape. And of course, this goes back to the fire. Like, all right, we need to go straight into the fire. Yeah, we gotta go straight in the fire. Like she just knew, like she knew deep down, like yeah. So she sent Connor on to run. She grabbed a pickaxe because earlier on, Ethan I asked her, "You got anything?" She goes, "I got a pickaxe." He goes, "You're gonna need a lot more than that to take out these guys." And then he knew, like, and that conversation was pretty cool. It was like, "Hey H, how you doing?" And like this nonchalant, like dropping these little things. Connor, I know you're there, but wherever you are, just stay where you are. Don't come out. But it was a nice moment, like that Ethan got to see with Angelina Jolie's pretty much the help, like his last thing that he did was help her out, and that was really cool.
Another thing though too that I really liked was whenever the woods are on fire and then they have to go where this little river is, this little lake or this, you know, and then they have to go on ahead. They go on ahead. They go underneath the water while the fire is burning, and she tells them once again, "Do what I do." And he comes up for air. She goes back down. He comes back up. I like that. And then after that, they come back up, and there's this nice little visual effect around them with the fire and everything. That was really beautiful, to be honest with you.
Before they got to the port, Angelina Jolie sent the boy, "Go straight ahead. Don't look back. Just keep running. Go straight, and then repeat what I say. Go straight, turn left, get in the river," like or whatever, like this. I mean, like statement. So he goes off. She stays there with the pickaxe while Patrick with the pistol is coming at, and she held her own against Patrick.
Patrick just kept on wailing on her though. He beat the hell out of her though, and she was relentless though.
Her with the pickaxe, like it was that man that kept remembering. Oh, holy crap! It's Laura Croft. Because Laura Croft used the pickaxe in the video games to not only stab, like to sneak up on somebody and hit somebody, and then Connor, of course, comes back to help her with the fight, and the kid took a wailing too on his face. Like Patrick was relentless. Like if we kept thinking Jack was the brawn, Patrick was more the brawn in this one, and it was like he was winning. He was pretty much like he didn't care he was a female. He was beating the crap out of her. Like her face was so beat up. And eventually, and then she stabbed him with the pickaxe, and she's like, "You know what? You're too easy. I'm gonna let the fucking fire do it for you."
And okay, this is what I wanted. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. It's just the irony of the fire that they had started is the fire that winds up killing him in the end. Yeah, that's just a beautiful irony of it.
I know. It was so funny. He's like, "Ha, you start the fire, and." You guess what? You live by the fire, you die by the fire. That's the thing goes. You can't handle the heat. Stay out of the kitchen.
Or, man is cold for a day. Build him a fire. Set a man on fire. You burn him with fire. He's warm for the rest of his life.
I mean, that was just poetic justice. Like I think that was the best kill in this movie. Was her? He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let the fucking fire do it for her. And her and Connor just go off while he's on fire screaming. Like that was such a poetic death. It was so great.
Exactly. And then after that, they wind up falling asleep. It's like the next morning.
Yeah, in the river. And then visually, that was stunning. That was yeah.
And then after that, it goes into the watchtower with John Bernthal, Ethan, and Allison. And, you know, he has his mask on. I forgot to mention that, too. Whenever the fire was coming at them, they actually had their oxygen mask on and everything. It's just a beautiful shot, though, of that for that night scene with the fire and everything. And it's coming towards them, and they put the mask on. That was a beautiful shot. But then it's like the next day, then we see these fire jumpers coming out of nowhere and everything coming over there to save them. She goes, "You just need me. I don't need anything for him." Yeah. And that really was. But he sacrificed himself for Connor, which is part of his job description. So that's something that I have to say was admirable about his character. And then also too, Angelina Jolie's character actually faced her fears. She's also redeemed in this film. And then it goes into the whole entire thing with Connor looking at her. He goes, "What happens now? What happens after me? After all this?" And I was actually thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, what does happen to him after all of this? You know, does he go into foster homes? What goes on? What happens after that? And I liked how Angelina just gives it to him, right? Because, well, there's going to be reporters. You got to go on ahead and talk to the reporters. Then after that, you have to go. He goes, "I know that, but what happens after that?" He goes, "I don't know." And then that's when it cuts. But here's my thing. And because of this movie felt so real to me, not everything happens in the end. No, not everything happens at a happy ending, right? That's just life. That's just the way things are, you know? And, we're like, well, where does he end up? We don't know where he ends up. But, it's just that was the end of his story. That was the end of his arc and everything, too. And, that's just the way life is, because we don't, for instance, people like Connor or whatever, they're wondering what's going to happen to them after this because their father is gone or their mother is gone. And the truth of the matter is, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to them or anything like that. So I definitely have to say there were some hints of realism when it came down to that I respected with the script.
Like I said, there's aspects I wanted, especially that ending. I wanted a few minutes longer because said it before, I want to know what these secrets were. When he's speaking to the media, I did like the Angelina Jolie, like whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. That I wanted to add that because she didn't pretty much on that. She said, I'm going to be there to help you out as much as I can. So that, I appreciate that, but I want to know that. I kind of want to know what happens to the boy. I kind of want that's the one of the things. There's a few minutes and then I already said it before. I want to know what this organization was. I want to know what these secrets were. I actually want to see them when they reveal these secrets. I want to see justice. I wanted to see these guys get arrested because again, this is a movie, not like I said. I can expect that. I respect the realism, but I'm like, this is a movie. We kind of want to at least have a happy ending because these are the type of movies I enjoy. I always hate those cliffhangers, and especially if I don't even know if there's going to be a sequel to this. I don't see how, because there's only one book that this was based off. If anybody didn't know, this movie's based off a book. I forgot the author's name, but it's the same title, but it's based off a book. Anyway, I kind of want to know what happens. Like I said, I want closure. That's the type of thing I like personally, but that's just me.
Another thing too that I want to mention is the fact that the runtime's only an hour and 40 minutes long, which to me is perfect for the runtime for myself because it's good to actually not have like a 2.5 hour movie if it's not needed. But I definitely like the runtime on it.
I think this like it could have been 2 hours with like 2 hours in length because again it's an hour and 40 minutes, but that's with the credits. You take out the credits portion of it, so we're looking maybe about an hour and 35. I think it should have been a little bit longer, maybe 2 hours and at least 2 hours. So maybe an hour and 55 minutes worth of that. So there could have been at least 20 more minutes of information that we could have find out. Maybe expand on Tyler Perry's character a little bit. Maybe a little bit more expansion, and maybe a little bit of expansion on the end. Because I thought like they said, the visual effects were great. I think like I said, they could have expanded more of the fire a little bit. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go. It wouldn't be too crazy. Like 2 hours. That's with credits. I don't know. For this movie, I think it could have been a little bit longer. But I thought the runtime again. I just thought it should have been a little longer. But it was still. It did what it needed to do. It entertained me. The interesting thing too is there's a little featurette on this movie about how they filmed the whole fire sequence. They built their own forest to shoot the thing. They built their own forest or something like that in order to, set it on fire because they couldn't go into another fire area. They couldn't do that and start a fire and film it there. No, they built their own fires. So maybe that part isn't realistic, but the visuals, it looked like a real forest. So that was like they did their job on that. But yeah, they built their own forest. As Tyler shared, he's like, you know what? We built our own forest and we just lit the bitch on fire or something of that nature. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's like, we just lit it on fire. And then the way they filmed, I thought how they filmed everything, like the fire looked intense. It looked real, and I thought that was really cool. But as me, I just thought it should have been a little bit longer because I want some closure and I want some more information.
All right. So that's going to be it as far as our review goes for those who wish me dead. I hope that everybody enjoyed this. Go ahead and check this out on HBO Max right now. You guys can stream it, or you guys can go to the movie theaters and check it out, depending on how you guys feel about it.
June 13th on HBO Max, because HBO Max, that deal is only like a certain time. So after a certain time, they take it off, and then they put it back in. It'll be available on video, like probably in the next couple months. But if you want to watch it on HBO Max, do it by June 13th. Sorry, John. I had to give it a rating, it's solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good.
I'm gonna go, even though I enjoyed it, enjoying the visuals, the plots, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go 5 out of it or 4. I'll probably go like a 3.8 out of 5
Okay.
because for the simple fact it was an enjoyable story. It was really good. I really thought that they did a really good job of everything else. But the little small things like you were mentioning to me, I wish they would actually expanded some of the other stuff out with the Tyler Perry thing. I thought that should have been needed. Because of that, that's why I have to give it at least a 3.8. I can't give it any more than that. But the visuals was good, the score was good, everything else was good. It's just little small details and everything else, but that's like little nitpicky stuff. But still, it was still a pretty good film.
Yeah. Better than a lot of stuff we've seen already.
Right. At least this is not on the predictability that we saw on Those Who Wish Me Dead. So at least it wasn't on that caliber level.
You mean Little Things?
No, Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yeah.
No, Those Who Wish Me Dead. The other one that we watched, the one that was on Amazon.
Remorse?
Huh?
Without Remorse?
Yeah, Without Remorse. At least it wasn't like Without Remorse, you know?
Okay. What? We're talking about that movie now.
Right. I knew that. I just wanted to see if you knew.
Okay.
So anyways, with that being said, guys, we actually have some stuff laid out already on, let's see, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. I have independent Arthur joining me to review One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then the next day, I have independent comic book writer Quentin Bennett. He's joining me again for a What About Bob review at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. And then, of course, on May 19th at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, I have Voorhees, Night of the Beast, which is actually Jason Pitts going to be on the show with me, doing his talking about his documentary fan-made film of Jason Voorhees. Go ahead and check that out on Wednesday. And then after that, we actually, on May 20th, we're doing our Rambo First Blood review. This is a part of our Rambo series. Charlie and I are both excited to do this. We've been talking about this for at least 3 or 4 months now. So I'm excited to do this with Sean. So go ahead and join us at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. He's going to break out the Rambo headband. So with that being said, guys, go on ahead. If you like what you see here, give us a like, give us a share, tell us what you think in the comments below. Another thing too is if you guys want to do this, go on ahead and follow us at Facebook at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Tonight underneath the same brand name on Pinterest, and also too on Instagram, and then follow me at Movie Lovers Unit on Stereo and on Twitter as well. How do you go on ahead and reach out to us? Just go to movieloversunite@gmail.com, and for all your intimate needs and wants, just go to movieloversunite.com. And then, of course, if you don't want to donate to the page, you just go to go on ahead, go to the GoFundMe page at www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Podcast. And of course, if you want to go on ahead and get an audio only podcast, wherever you guys get your podcast from, go on ahead, do so, subscribe, give me a rating on Apple Podcasts as well. Matter of fact, Apple Podcasts reached out to me today. They're trying to fix the issue. So I'm hoping, cross his fingers, that we actually have that laid out. And thanks again, Charlie, for joining me. It's always been a pleasure. Always until next time, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Can't wait to do this again. And bye-bye.